a small town, hidden among dense forests and foggy hills, stood St. Helena's Girls' Hostel. It was an old, Victorian-style building with creaky wooden floors, high ceilings, and long, dark hallways. The hostel was attached to a prestigious school, and only a few privileged students stayed there. But there was one rule that every student whispered about in fear: never enter room 306 after midnight. Some claimed to have heard whispers coming from inside. Others said they had seen a shadow moving in the darkened window, but no one ever dared to check. Until one night. Chapter 1. The arrival. Ria, a new student from Delhi, arrived at St. Helena's late in the evening. She was assigned room 305, right next to the infamous room 306. Unlike the other students, Ria was skeptical about ghost stories. She dismissed the warnings as silly hostel gossip. Her roommate, Ananya, was different. She looked nervous even as she helped Ria unpack. "You shouldn't ignore the stories," Ananya whispered. "Last year, a girl named Mira stayed in 306. She used to wake up screaming every night. One night, she just disappeared. No one knows what happened to her." Ria laughed. "Come on, Ananya. Don't tell me you believe in ghosts." Ananya just sighed. "Believe what you want. Just don't go near that room." That night, as the wind howled outside, Ria heard something strange, a faint whispering sound. It was soft, almost like a child's voice, coming from room 306. "Help me." Ria sat up in bed, her heart pounding. Was she imagining it? The next morning she asked the other girls, but they all avoided the topic. "Just don't talk about it," one of them warned. Chapter 2. The Dare. A few nights later, Ria's curiosity got the best of her. During a late-night study session, her friends dared her to knock on the door of room 306. "Fine, I'll do it," Ria said confidently. She walked up to the old wooden door and knocked once. Nothing. Knock. Knock. A sudden thud came from inside. Everyone gasped and ran back to their rooms. But Ria stood frozen as she heard the same whisper again. "Help me, please." Chills ran down her spine. She ran back to her room, locking the door behind her. That night, she couldn't sleep. Chapter 3. The Diary. Determined to uncover the truth, Ria searched the hostel's old records the next day. In the dusty library archives, she found an old diary labeled Mira Sinha, room 306. The last entry read, "The whispers won't stop. Every night she calls my name. I see her in my dreams, her pale face, her black eyes. She wants something. She wants me. Tomorrow I will open the door and face her. If I don't come back, remember my name." Ria's hands trembled. The date on the diary was the same night Mira disappeared. Chapter 4. The Dark Secret. That night, unable to resist the mystery, Ria decided to open room 306. With a flashlight in one hand and Ananya beside her, she slowly turned the rusted doorknob. The door creaked open, revealing a dust-covered room. Everything was untouched, as if Mira had never left. But then, the temperature dropped. The whispering returned. "You shouldn't be here." The closet door creaked open, revealing a dark figure. It was a girl, or what was left of her. Mira's lifeless eyes stared at them, her mouth stretched in a silent scream. Her hands were raised, as if reaching for help. Ananya screamed, pulling Ria away. The door slammed shut behind them as the lights flickered violently. The next morning, they told the hostel warden everything, but when they returned with the staff, room 306 was empty. No bed, no furniture, not even dust. It was as if the room had never existed. The hostel administration soon sealed off the door forever, but the whispers never stopped. And every new student at St. Helena's is still warned. Never knock on room 306 after midnight. Chapter 5. The haunting continues. Even after room 306 was sealed, the strange occurrences in the hostel didn't stop. Ria and Ananya began experiencing terrifying nightmares. Each night, Ria would wake up at exactly 3:06 a.m., drenched in sweat, feeling as if someone was watching her. One night, she jolted awake to the sound of slow, deliberate knocks on the wall behind her bed. 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. It came from the direction of room 306. Ananya also had a horrifying experience. She woke up to find long scratch marks on her arm, as if someone had clawed at her while she slept. "Ria, we need to leave this place," Ananya whispered, her voice shaking. But Ria wasn't ready to give up. She needed answers. Chapter 6. The Forbidden Records. Determined to uncover the truth, Ria sneaked into the school's old record room. Dusty files lay scattered across wooden shelves, untouched for years. She found a yellowed newspaper clipping from 1986. The headline sent shivers down her spine. Tragedy at St. Helena's Hostel. Girl found dead in room 306. The article spoke about a girl named Amara, a student who mysteriously died inside room 306. The cause of death was unknown, but students claimed she had become withdrawn and constantly talked about a shadow watching her. The hostel warden at the time had dismissed the claims, calling it hysteria. But the rumors continued. Some said Amara never really left. Ria's hands trembled as she read the last line of the article. Before her death, Amara had written a single sentence on the wall with her own blood. "Help me, she is coming." Chapter 7. The Entity in the Mirror. That night, as Ria stared at herself in the hostel bathroom mirror, the lights flickered. For a split second, she saw something behind her reflection. A girl with hollow black eyes and a twisted grin. Then, the mirror cracked. Ria screamed and ran back to her room, where Ananya was waiting. I saw her, Ananya, the girl from the article, Amara. Before Ananya could respond, the lights in their room flickered violently, and the whispers began. "She is here." Then the window slammed open, revealing a tall, shadowy figure standing in the courtyard below. It wasn't Amara. This was something else, something far worse. A deep, guttural voice echoed through the room. "Leave or suffer." Chapter 8. The Final Night. Ria and Ananya had no choice. They needed to end this once and for all. Following the diary's clues, they found an old rusted key hidden beneath a loose floorboard in room 305. It had a tag attached. Basement storage. Restricted. Late at night, they sneaked into the abandoned hostel basement, a place no student dared to enter. Inside, they discovered a small wooden box covered in cobwebs. Carved into its surface were strange symbols. As Ria opened it, A wave of cold air rushed out, and the whispers grew deafening. Inside the box was a locket containing a faded photo of a girl, Amara. Ananya gasped. "Ria, this means Amara was trapped here. Her spirit is still trying to escape." Suddenly, a loud scream erupted behind them. The entity was here. A black mist surrounded them, and from the shadows emerged a tall woman with empty sockets where her eyes should have been. Her skeletal fingers reached for them, her mouth twisting into a silent wail. "You cannot save her." With shaking hands, Raya held the locket tightly and whispered Amara's name. A piercing shriek filled the basement. The shadows swirled violently, and the entity howled as if in agony. Then, silence. When they opened their eyes, the basement was empty. The locket had vanished, and for the first time in weeks, the hostel felt normal. The truth behind room 306. The next day, the hostel warden revealed the real story. Decades ago, Amara had been accused of practicing black magic. The hostel staff, terrified of the rumors, locked her inside room 306. She had screamed for help, but no one came. Days later, they found her body. She had scratched the words, "Help me," into the wooden floor before she died. But the true horror was that Amara wasn't the real evil. The entity haunting room 306 was something else entirely. Something that had trapped Amara's spirit in that cursed space. Now with the locket gone, Amara was finally at peace. But the shadow, it was still out there, watching, waiting. Chapter 9. The Uneasy Silence. Days passed, and the hostel seemed calmer. The lights no longer flickered at night. The whispers had ceased, and room 306 remained sealed. But Ria and Ananya couldn't shake the feeling that something was still wrong. One evening, as they were walking back from the library, they noticed something disturbing. The door to room 306 was slightly open. "That's impossible," Ananya whispered. They sealed it shut. A cold wind blew past them. Ria's stomach tightened. Something wasn't over yet. Chapter 10. The New Girl. The hostel had a new resident, a girl named Tanya. She was assigned room 305, Ria's old room. On her first night, Tanya mentioned something strange. "I heard someone knocking from the other side of the wall last night," she said casually. "Like 3 slow knocks. It was weird." Ria and Ananya exchanged a terrified glance. The knocking had started again. That night, Ria stayed awake in her old bed in room 307, listening. At exactly 3:06 a.m., the knocking began. Knock, knock, knock. But this time, there was something else. A whisper. "Ria, let me in." Chapter 11. The blood-stained warning. The next morning, Tanya was missing. Her bed was untouched, her belongings still in place, but she was nowhere to be found. The hostel warden searched the entire campus, but there was no trace of her. Then, Ria noticed something chilling on the wall of room 305. Deep scratch marks carved into the paint, forming a message. "She's still here." Chapter 12. The Forbidden Ritual. Frightened and desperate, Ria and Ananya sought help from an elderly librarian, Mrs. D'Souza, who had worked at St. Helena's for over 40 years. When they told her about the knocking, the whispers, and Tanya's disappearance, she turned pale. "You've awakened something worse than Amara," she whispered. Mrs. D'Souza explained that Amara had never been the true evil. Long before Amara, the hostel was built over the ruins of an old convent. Legend had it that one of the nuns, Sister Agnes, had turned to dark practices. The other nuns, fearing her growing power, sealed her inside a hidden room. She didn't die peacefully. Mrs. D'Souza said her hatred consumed this place. Amara was just an innocent victim, trapped by something much older, much darker. The librarian handed them an ancient prayer scroll. If you want to end this, you need to perform a banishment ritual at the exact spot where she was buried, she said. But be warned, she won't let you do it easily. Chapter 13. The Buried Truth. Using old maps of the hostel, Ria and Ananya discovered that the hidden burial site was directly beneath room 306. With candles, salt, and the ancient scroll, they sneaked into room 306 at midnight. The air inside was thick and heavy, as if the room itself was breathing. As Ananya started reading the incantation, the room shook violently. The shadows in the corners moved. Then they saw her, a tall, twisted figure in a nun's habit, her face a black void, her mouth stretched into an endless scream. Sister Agnes, you cannot send me away, she growled. You belong to me now. The room exploded into chaos. The floor cracked open, revealing a deep pit of writhing shadows. Ananya screamed as something grabbed her ankle and began pulling her in. Raya, shaking with terror, clutched the scroll and continued the prayer. Begone, cursed spirit, return to the void. A deafening shriek filled the air. The shadows collapsed inward. The room turned ice cold, and then silence. The pit was gone. Sister Agnes was gone, and room 306 was nothing but an empty shell. Epilogue. The final goodbye. The next morning, Tanya was found outside the hostel gates, unconscious but alive. She had no memory of what happened, but she kept murmuring, "She took me to the dark place." The hostel administration finally decided to shut down room 306 forever. This time, they sealed it with bricks. For the first time in decades, the whispers stopped. The knocking never returned. But Ria and Ananya knew one thing. Somewhere, deep within the walls of St. Helena's, something was still watching, waiting for the next girl foolish enough to open the door. The end, for now.